What if the most important truths about life are the ones no one dares to tell you until it's too late to change anything? Cut to an elderly man sitting alone by the window staring into the distance. Then, an old photo album slowly closing. Imagine reaching the very end of your life and realizing you missed the moments that truly made it worth living. We all think we have more time. Time to fix that relationship. Time to chase that dream. Time to finally live the way we've always wanted. But here's the truth: one day, without warning, the time runs out. And when it does, all the excuses, all the somedays turn into one haunting question. Why didn't I start sooner? A sunset fading tonight. People walking past each other on the street, never making eye contact. A single candle burning low. This isn't just philosophy, it's psychology. Carl Jung believed that hidden inside each of us are truths about the meaning of life, truths that, if ignored, can leave us with a lifetime of regret. Today we're going to uncover those truths, the ones you need to hear now, not when it's too late. Because if you can recognize them early, you can live with clarity, purpose, and without the shadow of regret. So before we go any further, ask yourself, if I only had 1 year left, what would I stop putting off today? Narrator's steady, reflective tone. They say money is the most valuable resource. But here's the truth: money can be earned, lost, and earned again. Time. Once you spend it, it's gone forever. You can't save it in a bank. You can't get a refund. Every single day is a transaction you can never reverse. I've spoken with retirees who spent decades working double shifts, telling themselves they'd make time later for their kids, their spouse, their dreams. And when later finally arrived, the kids had grown up. The family dinners they planned in their minds never happened. They had the money, but not the moments. The truth hit them like a brick wall. They had traded irreplaceable time for replaceable dollars. Carl Jung warned that living fully isn't just about achievement or security. It's about presence. He believed that the soul shrinks when we postpone life for the sake of someday. And here's the kicker: most people don't even realize they're doing it. We say, I'll travel when I retire, I'll write that book when the kids move out, I'll reconnect with my parents next month. But the silent clock keeps ticking, and one day next month never comes. Let me ask you this: if I gave you $86, $400, and told you you had to spend it all today or lose it, would you waste it? Of course not. Well, every single day, life deposits 86 400 seconds into your account. And every second you don't use with intention is gone. Forever. A montage of everyday life: a father reading to his daughter, a couple walking by the ocean, friends laughing over coffee. Then fade into a sunset shot. One day these simple moments will be the treasures you wish you had more of. Not the overtime hours, not the endless scroll on your phone, the moments. So here's the challenge today: not next week, not next year. Choose one thing worth your time and do it. Call your mom. Take your kid for ice cream. Start the project you keep pushing off. Because every moment you live fully is a moment you'll never regret. Narrator, warm, inviting tone. When people look back on their lives, it's not the awards on the shelf or the titles on their resume they hold closest to their hearts. It's the faces, the voices, the shared moments that made them feel alive. Nor one of the longest-running studies in history, the Harvard Study of Adult Development, followed people for over 80 years to uncover what truly makes a life happy and fulfilling. The result: it wasn't wealth unearned, it wasn't fame, it wasn't professional success. It was relationships, deep, genuine, enduring connections with others. The data was clear: people who nurtured close relationships lived longer, felt healthier, and experienced more joy than those who prioritized achievements alone. We often tell ourselves, I'll spend more time with family once this project is done. Or, once I hit that promotion, then I can relax and reconnect. But here's the thing. Life doesn't send you a memo saying now is the time to love. That time is now. Because the truth, achievements fade, but the memories of shared laughter, late-night talks, and quiet moments, those stay with you until your very last breath. Let me ask you something. If you were to imagine your 90-year-old self sitting in a chair looking back on your life, would they thank you for the extra hours you worked? Or would they wish you had called your best friend more often, had one more Sunday dinner with your kids, taken that spontaneous road trip with your partner? Carl Jung often spoke about individuation, the process of becoming your truest self. And part of that journey is realizing that we are not islands. The soul craves connection, because connection is what anchors us to meaning. When we invest in people, we invest in the part of life that outlives every accomplishment. Montage of hugs at airports, family cooking together, friends laughing around a bonfire. Then fade into a close-up of intertwined hands. You can't frame a promotion and expect it to hug you back. You can't hold a trophy when the nights feel long and lonely. But a real friend, a loving partner, a tight-knit family, they'll stand beside you through storms no achievement can shelter you from. So here's your challenge for today. Send that text. Make that call. Schedule that coffee. Show up even in small ways for the people who make your life worth living. Because when you strip away the noise, life's greatest achievement is the love you leave behind. Narrator's steady, reflective tone. Most of us are born into a world that already has a script written for us. Go to school, get the job, climb the ladder, buy the house, keep everyone happy. And for years, sometimes decades, we play our part. Until one day, maybe at the very end, we realize something heartbreaking: we never truly lived for ourselves. Society is loud. It tells you what success should look like, what happiness should feel like, and even how you should measure your own worth. The problem: the crowd's definition of a good life often has nothing to do with your soul's definition. Carl Jung called this disconnect a kind of soul sickness, the slow erosion of the self when you ignore your inner truth for too long. Corporate offices, endless meetings, people scrolling on phones looking drained. We trade years of our lives chasing approval likes, titles, or a spot on someone else's list of accomplished people. And yet, we still feel empty inside. Carl Jung had a word for the journey back to your self-individuation. It's the process of stripping away everything that isn't truly you, the masks you've worn, the roles you've played, until you meet the raw, unfiltered self underneath. Individuation isn't about rejecting the world entirely. It's about learning to live in it without losing yourself to it. Here's a question you can ask yourself right now. If there were no one left to judge you, no one left to impress, what would you still want to do with your life? Would you still be working the same job, living in the same place, spending time with the same people? Most people don't like their first answer because it reveals how far they've drifted from their own inner compass. Following the crowd feels safe. It gives you a sense of belonging. But safety and truth are not the same thing. History is full of people who changed the world by stepping away from the herd, artists who painted differently, thinkers who questioned norms, ordinary people who chose authenticity over approval. The crowd tells you to blend in. Your inner voice tells you to stand out. The crowd wants you to be predictable. Your inner voice wants you to be real. Think about it. How many choices have you made just to keep the peace, to avoid criticism, or to fit in? Now imagine how different your life might be if you made even one decision, purely because it felt right in your bones, even if no one else understood. Create quiet. You can't hear your inner voice over the noise of the world. Even 10 minutes of silence a day. No phone, no TV can help you reconnect. Question every should. The next time you think I should do this, ask yourself who says me or them. Test small acts of authenticity. Wear what you want, speak an unpopular truth, try a hobby just because you're curious. Notice how freeing it feels. Jung believed that ignoring the individuation process has consequences. You might appear successful on the outside, but inside you feel disconnected, anxious, and restless. The danger. By the time many people realize they've been living someone else's life, they're running out of time to live their own. A man in his 80s staring out a window, his reflection merging with the sunset. Cut to a young person walking away from a crowd toward an open field. Because the truth is, you only get one life, and living it as a performance for others is one of the deepest regrets you can carry. So here's my challenge to you. This week, choose one thing that is purely yours. Not your boss's idea, not your parents' expectation, not your social media audience's approval, yours. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It just has to be real. Narrator, calm, steady voice. Here's something most of us don't want to hear. The hardest chapters of your life are not punishments. They're teachers. From the moment we're born, we're wired to avoid discomfort. We reach for the light, the warmth, the safety. We run from what hurts. And yet, if you look back at the moments that shaped you the most, chances are they weren't the easy ones. They were the storms. Carl Jung once said, "There is no coming to consciousness without pain." Pain strips away illusions. It forces you to see what you've been ignoring. Losing someone you love might teach you the urgency of saying "I love you" more often. A failure might show you that your worth was never tied to success in the first place. Archival footage of a person packing up an office after losing a job, then later laughing with friends in a small kitchen. I once spoke with a woman who had lost her husband unexpectedly. At first, the grief was unbearable, the kind that makes breathing feel like work. But in time, she found herself volunteering at a local hospice, helping others navigate their own goodbyes. She told me I thought I'd lost my purpose when he died. But maybe I found a new one. Her pain didn't vanish, but it transformed into something that could light the way for others. When pain arrives, you have two choices. Close yourself off, build walls so nothing can hurt you again. Stay open and allow the pain to carve out space for deeper understanding. The first choice keeps you safe, but it also keeps you small. The second choice is terrifying, but it's where transformation happens. Psychologists talk about post-traumatic growth, the phenomenon where people emerge from loss or trauma with a stronger sense of gratitude, purpose, and resilience. It's not about romanticizing suffering. It's about recognizing that pain, unwanted as it is, can be the soil where wisdom grows. Carl Jung saw pain not as a mistake in life, but as an essential element of individuation, the process of becoming whole. To integrate the shadow, to truly know yourself, you must face the truths that pain reveals: your fears, your values, your capacity to endure. Avoiding pain doesn't make it go away, it just buries it deeper. And buried pain has a way of leaking out in other parts of your life, in relationships, in self-worth, in the quiet moments when you think no one is watching. The longer you run, the more you carry. A person stuffing belongings into a box, then later standing alone on a wide empty beach. Acknowledge it fully. Stop pretending you're okay when you're not. Naming your pain is the first step toward understanding it. Ask what it's teaching you. Every hardship carries a lesson. Maybe it's patience. Maybe it's courage. Maybe it's the art of letting go. Channel it into action. Write about it. Create something from it. Help someone else going through the same thing. Pain will change you. The question is, will it make you bitter, or will it make you wise? Every scar tells a story, but you get to choose how that story ends. Narrator warm, reflective tone. When we think of the word legacy, we often imagine something grand, our name etched into history, a fortune passed down a list of accomplishments carved in stone. But here's the truth. No one tells you your legacy isn't built in big, rare moments. It's written quietly, in the everyday acts no one claps for. Legacy isn't about the size of your bank account or the length of your resume. It's about the way people feel after you've left the room. It's in the kindness you offered when you didn't have to. It's in the wisdom you shared without expecting anything back. Carl Jung believed the meaning of life isn't in chasing applause, but in becoming the most authentic version of yourself and in how that authenticity touches others. He might say your legacy is the emotional and spiritual imprint you leave behind. Not just what you did, but how you did it. Think of the last time a stranger's simple act changed your entire day. Maybe it was a warm smile when you felt invisible. Maybe it was someone remembering your name when you didn't expect them to. These moments are small to the giver, but monumental to the receiver. And over a lifetime, they stack up, becoming the true story of who you were. Footage of an elderly man tying his granddaughter's shoelaces, both laughing. Cut to a slow-motion shot of hands passing a steaming cup of coffee to someone on a cold morning. And here's where it gets even more surprising. The people who leave the deepest legacies aren't always the loudest or the most visible. In fact, sometimes they're the ones you'd least expect. We'll come back to that in just a moment. Big achievements might make headlines, but small moments make heart lines. A promotion will be forgotten by most, but the way you treated people on the way up, that's remembered. The Harvard Study of Adult Development, one of the longest studies on human happiness, found that close relationships are the strongest predictor of life satisfaction. Not fame, not wealth. Relationships. Our brains hold on to emotionally charged memories far more than neutral ones. That's why years later, someone might not remember your title, but they'll remember the night you stayed with them in the ER, or the time you made them feel safe to be themselves. And here's something powerful sometimes. The legacy you leave isn't even for someone you know personally. It can ripple outward in ways you'll never see in your lifetime. We'll get to that ripple effect soon. Every smile, every encouragement, every time you listen without judgment, it plants a seed. Maybe that seed grows into someone's courage to speak up. Maybe it grows into the hope they needed to keep going. And they pass it on. Long after you're gone, these small seeds can still bloom in places you've never been. Montage of nature footage, a single raindrop hitting water, ripples expanding outward, a seed sprouting from the soil. Be present. People remember when you truly listen. Put the phone down, look into their eyes. Offer kindness without expectation. The smallest gesture can change someone's trajectory. Live your values out loud. Don't just talk about what matters to you, embody it. Teach through example. Children and peers learn more from what you do than what you say. If legacy is built in small moments, then every day is a chance to shape it. Which means, and this might be the hardest part, the way you live today is already telling the story you'll leave behind. And that brings us to a deeper truth we'll explore next. Your legacy doesn't wait until the end of your life to be written. It's being written now in how you greet your neighbor, how you speak to the cashier, how you show up for your loved ones, or fail to. In the end, the people who knew you won't just remember what you achieved. They'll remember how you made them feel. And that feeling becomes the mark you leave on the world. Legacy is not the monument you leave behind. It's the light you leave in someone else's heart. Narrator's steady, heartfelt tone. Time will run out. You and I, we don't get to press pause. Every moment that passes is one you'll never get back. But here's the good news: you have the power right now to make each day count. We spend so much of life waiting. Waiting for the right moment. Waiting until we feel ready. Waiting until we have more time, more money, more certainty. But the deepest truths are useless if we realize them only when there's no time left to live them. You don't need another decade to start. You don't need perfection. You need today. A montage of everyday life, someone holding a loved one's hand, a laugh shared at the dinner table, an artist painting in the warm afternoon light. Don't wait until it's too late. Live the truth now. If there's love to give, give it. If there's forgiveness to offer, offer it. If there's a dream calling you, answer it today, not someday. Carl Jung reminded us that the self, our truest self, doesn't emerge when life is easy or perfect. It emerges when we live in alignment with what matters most. Starting this very moment. And now I want to hear from you. What's one truth you've learned that you wish you knew 20 years ago? Share it in the comments. You never know who might need to hear it today. Close-up of hands, typing on a keyboard, then a comment section filling with heartfelt messages. If this message resonated with you, join us as we explore more life-changing insights inspired by Carl Jung and timeless wisdom from across the ages. We release new videos every week designed to challenge your thinking, nourish your soul, and inspire the way you live.